All right, hidden among all the headlines this week was a news update that will impact literally tens of millions of women for years to come. The Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration held a landmark public hearing today for treatment for menopause. 75 million American women are in some stage of menopause. What was once laughed off as a punchline is now recognized for what it truly is, a life-changing condition with symptoms that can be debilitating, like insomnia, severe anxiety, brain fog, bone fractures, depression, and yes, that old classic that's the butt of all jokes, hot flashes. Those symptoms and more can be alleviated by a treatment called hormone replacement therapy. But for years, HRT has been the target of confusion and even some misinformation. More than 2 decades ago, in 2002, a study by the Women's Health Initiative linked hormone replacement therapy to breast cancer. It was a narrow study, and it wasn't even completed, but the damage was done. Almost overnight, hormone replacement therapy was seen as a carcinogen. The FDA slapped it with a black box warning, and women, they flushed their pills down the toilet. Within months, hormone replacement therapy use went from 40% to just 5%. Women have suffered in silence with symptoms ever since. But new science now shows that HRT can actually not only alleviate menopause, it can improve women's health overall, reducing the risk of heart disease by 50%, bone fractures by 50%, cognitive decline, including Alzheimer's, by 60%, and UTIs by 50%. That's why now the FDA says it's totally reevaluating its black box warning. It's even convened an expert panel today to, quote, set the record straight. FDA Commissioner Marty Makary joins me now. Dr. Makary, great to have you back on the show. So you said there's probably no medication that improves health outcomes for women more than hormone replacement therapy, except for maybe antibiotics. And yet millions of women have been too frightened to take it.
That's right, Elizabeth, and that was an excellent summary that you just provided. There may be no intervention that may improve the health outcomes of a population and of women more than HRT, with maybe a few exceptions like antibiotics, as you mentioned. And so we have got to, at the FDA, get through this remnant dogma and update the label so it's consistent with the science. Now, there's this fear of breast cancer, a topic that's a very sensitive topic for good reason with a lot of women. When you dangle fear and you never talk about the long-term health benefits, the ones that you described, and you don't say that even though there was this concern and question raised in the past, no clinical trial has ever found that hormone replacement therapy increases breast cancer mortality. That's a fact, and that has been affirmed by the people who did those studies trying to make the association. So women need to know this, because 50+ million women over the last 20+ years have not even been offered this therapy, or they've asked about it and been told by their doctor that, you know, we don't recommend it because of this dogma. We've got to separate dogma from evidence.
Is removing the black box warning enough? I mean, a lot of what you're saying, Dr. Makary, a lot of OBGYNs are not saying in offices sitting across from women.
Well, first of all, removing the black box warning, and we haven't officially decided to do that yet. Let me be clear, the FDA is taking a look at this as one of my top priorities. I'm just about 100 days into office here, and we've got to challenge some deeply held assumptions if we're interested in the health of the population and being honest with the labeling of drugs. So no, if it is done, it's not enough. We need the public to become educated, and we heard from amazing national experts. There is an enlightenment in the medical field that this may have been one of the greatest mistakes of modern medicine in the last 25 years. And you can hear from these experts on the FDA Twitter channel and other places. You will see them talk passionately about what may have been a massive missed opportunity that women today can still learn from.
Yeah, and Dr. Makary, I just want to underline what you just said, that this may have been one of the biggest major medical mistakes in recent history. And a lot of women have paid the price. And just for, in case, you know, for folks in our audience who are either men or are women who have not yet been fortunate enough to live long enough to go through menopause in our audience, we're not talking about small stuff here. We're talking about symptoms that can really impact a woman's life. And we're talking about the fact that hormone replacement therapy, you say, can actually prolong a woman's life.
Look, women have lived longer and felt better and had better health outcomes when taking hormone replacement therapy when not contraindicated. There are some rare contraindications, but it needs to be started within 10 years of the onset of perimenopause, according to most medical experts, in order to have these long-term health benefits. And remember, one of these big health benefits that you mentioned is up to a 50% reduction in fatal heart attacks. Well, that's the #1 cause of death in women. So we haven't been able to see the forest from the trees when talking about the risks and benefits of HRT. People deserve to know the facts. Look, my mom was one of those individuals who was never offered hormone replacement therapy. She went through the perimenopausal period around the time of this mass dogma that it increases your risk of dying of breast cancer. She ended up having 2 bone fractures that were debilitating for a period of time later in life. And I've got to think that they may have been avoidable.
Yeah.
The entire operation and debilitation, had she had the bone strength that comes with HRT.
And by the way, bone fractures in older women, leading cause of death there. It is fatal to break a bone when you are over a certain age. Dr. Makary, thank you so much for holding the hearing today and for coming on and giving us your expertise. And congratulations on the new baby. It's a big news in the Makary household today. All right, doctor, thank you so much.
Elizabeth, and thanks for covering this topic.
You bet. You bet. All right, joining me now is someone who's made it her life's mission to normalize how menopause is seen and treated. Tamsen Fadal is the author of the book, How to Menopause. She's also done a documentary. You're a big public speaker. Okay. I had to have you on to react to this FDA hearing. This is a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. I mean, you and I were sitting here not too long ago saying we've got to talk about this. We need more information. Women need more information about how to stay healthy longer. And here we are right now. So I'm super excited to see that. I really have to say that seeing so many of the doctors on that panel, many that I've interviewed through the last few years, and listening to them so passionate, giving that information, and really help clearing up a lot of misinformation that we have heard and lived with through the years. So it's really, really important. And a kudos to the women who have not stayed silent, because I really believe that's how we got here.
It's really surprising to hear the FDA commissioner say this is one of the biggest medical mistakes in modern history.
Well, you and I have talked about it before, right? Doctors stopped being educated about it after a big study that was over 20 years ago now, the Women's Health Initiative.
That was really so narrow, not even finished, and according to many now, deeply flawed.
Yeah, and what's different about it right now is that we've had all of these decades to do this type of research. That has not really been done. There's been some research, but nothing hit those headlines like this does, right? So we've got some new things and new information, and unfortunately, we don't have a lot of doctors being trained about this or taught about this. So when a woman walks into a doctor's office and hears, no, 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 that's dangerous, if I hear that from my doctor, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fight back. So this is some good news, and I think that this is the area that we need to go in. And we have so many people that have been advocating for this such a long time. We called this campaign Unboxing Menopause, so we could really talk about removing that label.
Why is it so hard to get that black box warning label off?
You know, I mean, that's something that takes time.
Because right now it's on every single form of estrogen that a woman might be.
Right, and you go home and you open that up and you think like, wow, is this worth it? Am I going to do this? You open that material and that is very scary. So women just stop, throw it away, turn away, and then just suffer. And so, you know, I think these things are complicated. They're hard. They take a long time to do. So I was very happy that those physicians are sitting there talking about it, explaining what's gone on, and explaining the history around all of it, really. And this is just the beginning.
And yet women are still getting mixed messages.
Yes.
You know, the Journal of American Family Physician this week published an editorial saying there were, quote, significant harms from hormone therapy and, quote, limited benefits.
Well, and that's where I think a lot of that research comes in, right? We spend a lot of time going, okay, we're not worrying about this or women at this time in their lives. And so I think the good news is, because of the pressure of real women out there saying, listen, I need some answers. I'm not willing to suffer. I'm staying in the workplace longer. I want to feel good. I want to be healthy as I get older. I don't want to break a bone. I don't want to break my hip, because we know where that leads. I think that's how we've gotten to today, and I think we still have to continue to be loud.
You have traveled the country, and since you left your job anchoring the local news here in New York City at WPIX, you've done this documentary called The M Factor. You've written this book, a best-selling book, won lots of kudos, called Let's Talk Menopause. What are you hearing? Because you've really traveled the country holding these seminars, talking to women and to doctors. What are you hearing from women who are now really, for the first time in modern history, speaking up and speaking very openly and candidly about what they've suffered?
Yeah, I think appreciation, first of all, that they're being heard, you know, wondering why it took this long to do that. When I wrote How to Menopause, it was really coming as a journalist who interviewed a lot of different doctors. There's so much incredible expertise out there, and I wanted to help women be able to take control of their own narrative, so they weren't relying on maybe a doctor that didn't have the right information. But I'm hearing the same story, Elizabeth, from one woman after another. I went in, I didn't know what to do, I got confused, there's misinformation. Is this going to cause a health problem for me? And so that confusion is really what's made it my mission to keep going. And I think what we saw with the documentary, which has now been seen in 42 countries, it's been women that have been sharing this and clinicians that have been helping educate. And so I couldn't be more proud of, you know, we're calling it a moment at one point, like menopause is having a moment. I don't think that's what it is anymore.
No, I don't think it is either. By the way, it's an enormous business.
Yes, it is.
Massive companies are now making massive money selling things and helping women through this. In addition, massive money is lost every year through lost productivity, because when you take women over the age of 45-ish or 50-ish out of the workforce because they're too sick to work, that's a big, big loss.
It's a big loss, and it's unnecessary.
Tamsen Fadal, great to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you for always covering this. You were one of the first, and I really appreciate it.
We were happy to be the first.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.